Hi, folks. Tim Goewey. Welcome to an impromptu episode 5. We had some things scheduled for this evening, but some uncontrollable circumstances kind of forced us to call an audible. So we went in the back of the clubhouse and we found this gentleman. So our impromptu interview tonight, we'd like to welcome Mr. Owen Lewis / Commander. Welcome to the show, Owen.
Appreciate that.
What's going on? Now, you've got quite the story as far as racing is concerned. For those of you who don't know, Owen is the son of Scott Commander, Howard Commander's only son. And Owen ended up diving into racing here a few years ago. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go back a little bit because we're talking to a guy that has been around this facility, the Commander Motorsports Park, Lebanon Valley Speedway, the Valley of Speed, since he was 3 years old. But where people typically start in the go-karts and then they graduate to maybe a slingshot and then they maybe move up to open wheel or limited sportsman, Owen kind of passed all those. And a few years ago, dove into the limited sportsman. Owen, what happened? Because your grandfather got in a race car one time, didn't get hooked. He figured he'd be better off as a promoter.
No.
I don't think your dad, Scott, ever got in anything. And then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 years. So tell us, how did that transpire?
I worked here every Saturday. I started working the back gate. I let everyone in for a year and
For free?
no, not for free.
We're to edit that.
Not allowed to.
If Howard sees this, he'll kill us. Go ahead.
And yeah, I just fell in love. Just every Saturday I watched, and I was like, we got to do this. So.
And your father was fully supportive.
Fully
I
supportive.
remember him making a phone call and telling me that Wayne Jelly was going to jump in
That's where it started.
with both feet.
Wayne.
And you started, I remember your dad, you had to go to Pittsfield, you had to work on the race car, but kind of walk us through that first year. And again, you had not raced go-karts, you had not raced slingshot, you had not raced anything leading up to it.
Nothing.
So you just said, I'm going to give this a shot.
No, Wayne, he got me going. He showed me the ropes and he built my first car. And then I just took off from there. And it kind of became more of an addiction than it was a hobby. And I'm not stopping, so.
No, I don't see any stopping anytime soon.
No.
You've made the trek out to Oswego.
Yeah.
Kind of walk us through that first year. What was the learning curve like for you?
It was, it looks a lot easier than getting in the car.
Which I think is the sentiment.
Not
just
a
about
lot of people know that.
Yeah, well, it's what I hear quite a bit.
Yeah.
It does not look. It is not as easy as it looks sitting from the stands.
Certainly not.
Yep.
There was a lot of figuring stuff out and just trial and error. And
Now, I thought one of the interesting things, because we talked about this, your first car was an Olson car, correct? Or a TL?
yeah, yep, TL.
And it was a bar car.
It was an old bar car.
And I remember having conversations with Wayne Jelly at the time saying everything's coils these days.
Yeah.
But he felt
Yeah, no.
strongly that you getting started off in a bar car and then graduating. And tell us a little bit about the transition of that. Well, the first year, did you win anything the first year?
No, it was just a bunch of hitting the wall every week,
You did hit the wall.
fixing it for the next week.
Well, I always told my brother, you never know how fast you can go until you hit the wall.
That's true.
But the second and third time wasn't necessary. You'd think you'd figure it out by then.
That's the way it goes.
So that first year, you get your feet wet. You kind of trials, tribulations, really just kind of figuring out what you're up against. And then year number 2 is when you switched over to a coil car?
Yep. No, year number 2, we ended up getting a car from Olden Dwyer, and that was our first ever coil car. And
Right.
It's definitely a lot different. It's a lot more aggressive, but for the better, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that's the way of the world these days, right?
No, for sure.
So the one thing that I never drove anything because I would have been just like you. I would have never been able to stop, and I absolutely knew better than to do something like that. But year number 2, tell us about your second season, and the car that you bought from the Dwyers was coil car.
Yeah.
Walk us through that second season.
It was about like the first. I didn't have much hopes, but I mean, it's a whole different car, brand new. We got a Bicknell, and I don't know. It seemed like it wasn't really going that good for the first part of the season. And my next door neighbors, my trailer neighbors, the Hartmans, I think they were just kind of sick and tired of seeing me, hit the wall every week. And Timmy, he started giving me some, pointers and, a little bit of advice of, what to actually do. And that's when I started to kind of figure it out. And it turned out to be a pretty good season.
Now, again, I post this on Facebook and our social media page. One of my favorite interviews was coming down on the night that you got your first win. And I passed Howard on the stairs, and Howard doesn't come downstairs for many.
No.
But he came down proud as a peacock, and I remember the smile on your dad's face, and all the commanders were in victory lane together, and it was a pretty special moment. Talk to us a little bit about that night.
No, it was a pretty good night. Didn't think I was going to win at all, and turned out to win. Howard came downstairs. He doesn't do that for many, and no, I can't even. The whole night was awesome.
I remember talking to you later in the clubhouse, and you couldn't remember. You asked me
exactly
what I asked you, and what did you say? Because you couldn't remember anything.
I had a good night.
That was a good night. Now, that was in limited sportsman, right? So that's a sportsman division, same cars as sportsman.
Yep.
But limited experience, I guess, is the best way to put it. So exactly. What happened the following week?
The following week, it happened again. We got her done again.
Got her done one more time.
One more time.
Any more wins the rest of the season?
And the same thing the week after that. You managed to do it again. Something was just going right, I guess.
The best thing about winning 3 in a row is that your major sponsor, Fun Plex Fun Park, got sucked right into.
Oh, yeah.
Like the open checkbook.
Yeah.
Like we're going racing.
No.
Yep.
Now he's fully committed.
And he whines to me on a daily basis. Jeez, I didn't really realize it was this expensive. So it's nice to see Scott Commander, because of Owen Lewis, Commander, kind of get his feet wet into this whole racing game while being part of the family to one of the most famous speedways, dirt track racetracks in the entire nation.
For sure.
How about last year? You did move up to the sportsman division. A lot more challenging, a lot more experience that you're racing there. Tim Hartman Jr. won almost every race 2 years ago, won the championship again the last few years. Reminds me of my brother Casey, because he never really moved up to the modifieds either. My brother Brian did, but Casey he was comfortable in the sportsman. And I think financial reasons and some other influences kind of kept him there, and he was comfortable there. But tell us about the transition from the limited sportsman up into the actual sportsman division.
I mean, it's the same deal. It's just, all the guys have been doing it for a very long time. Definitely, I thought it would have been, maybe a little bit easier than it was, but it's a battle. Every week it's a battle.
Every week it's a battle.
That's for sure.
Let me ask you a question, and I always say this, like, I'll reference my golf game, is when I play golf with some really good golfers, just unconditionally, my game seems to step up just a pace. Do you feel the same thing racing with more experienced guys, more guys that have been at victory lane? Does that help you step up your game a little bit?
No, for sure. It definitely does. But it also comes to a point where, it's just they're better.
Well, and again, a lot of these guys have a lot more seat time than you do. Now, you've been running both Albany, Saratoga, and Lebanon. Is that the plan for this year coming up?
I think I'm probably just gonna stay here at Lebanon Valley. I'll do a little, going to Malta or whatever every once in a while, but probably just gonna stay here Saturdays.
Hone your skills right here where basically you grew up.
Yep.
Letting people in for free through the back gate.
Exactly.
So you've pretty much raced Albany, Saratoga, and Lebanon. And I've always heard through the most successful drivers that I've had the good fortune of speaking with, seat time is everything regardless of the racetrack you're at. So what are your plans going into 2026?
I think we're going to stay here at Lebanon Valley on Saturdays.
Try not to fold your arms like that. That's very unassuming. Like, put your hands on the table like mine are. That's better. Is that more comfortable for you?
It seems more comfortable.
Okay. So 2026.
We're staying here at Lebanon Valley. Might go to Malta a few times, maybe even a couple other places, but just probably gonna run Saturdays.
Primarily focus here, the place you were born,
Yes,
place you've been at since you were 3 years old,
this is our home.
the place where you used to let everyone in for free through the back
Yes.
gate.
Hundreds of dollars.
You know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? So are there any aspirations to maybe move up further, or are you going to sit tight for now, for the time being?
For the time being, I think it's just sportsman division. That's what's calling my name right now.
Well, if you want me to talk to your team owner and your major sponsor,
I'll go right ahead.
I will see what I can do and see if we just maybe can't get something in the works.
I'm not opposed to it.
I mean, if you were offered a ride in a big block, you certainly wouldn't turn it down.
No.
You heard it here first.
No.
Looks like Owen Lewis Commander might be moving up to the modified division. Scott, your ears ringing? Well, Owen, thanks for taking a couple minutes. I know that this was an impromptu. We pulled you out of the back of the clubhouse. You're working on the wobble wheel,
No.
placing the tires so that we get this track in tip-top shape for next year. I know you were a little nervous being thrown in the chair.
Yes, sir.
With no notice and no practice, but I got to hand it to you. It's like your driving talent. You like a duck to water.
Well, I appreciate that.
Always proud of you, kid. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our guest for today, Mr. Owen Lewis, Commander. Stay tuned. We've got some more things coming in this episode.